Hi, I'm Donna Jordan from Jordan Fabrics. Today I'd like to show you how to make the quilt called Serenity. I've been wanting to make this for a long time. I really like quilts that don't have a lot of different colors in them because there's places to use these in your house. Sometimes you want a spot of red on a couch on the end of your bed. But I think instead of the red, I think I'm going to do it with a darker group, and I think I'm going to do it with less contrast. So I'm going to pick the darker ones out of here. And instead of having light and dark, like we've got light and dark red, I'm going to do it mostly all darker colors. This is a pattern from Cozy Quilt Designs, and something I really like about their patterns is that they offer a lot of different sizes in one pattern. I'm going to make the throw size today. So I have options. I can either use 14 fat quarters, or I can use a mix, some fat quarters and some 2.5-inch strips. You could even use charm squares and 2.5-inch strips, or some charm squares and some fat quarters. So this would also be a great pattern if you want to use up some of your scraps, some of your pre-cut pieces that you have left over from other projects. I'm using a fat quarter bundle of batiks called Fresh Meadow, and I only need 14 of them. I think I've got 20 here. So I'm going to pick out some that have some different colors. They're not all the same color, but I think I will not use these lighter ones. So I'm going to have a lot less contrast built into the quilt, but there will be blue, green, purple, my favorite colors. These are all the fat quarters I've selected, and I actually picked out 15. So just because a pattern calls for 14 doesn't mean you can't use 15 or 16 or 17 if you want to blend in a little more color. Before I cut, I always iron to get the fabric nice and flat, and then my cutting will end up more accurate. I'm going to lay each of my fat quarter pieces so that the selvage is up against my stomach here and the half width of the fabric is up here. So it's a little bit narrower this way than that way. And you have to be a little bit careful when you cut these because we're going to use up quite a bit of the width. There's several different sizes we're going to be cutting here. I can't give you all the sizes because it's not my pattern, but Cozy always has such easy directions to follow. You will have no problem getting everything cut to the exact sizes you need. These are all the pieces we need for the whole quilt. And to make the first block, we need one long one. Then we're going to need 4 different squares. We'll use those 4. And then we're going to need 2 of these rectangles. So I'm just going to pick out some that I haven't picked already. So each square will have all these different pieces. The block layout is super easy. We're going to have 2 pieces up here, long piece in the middle. Then we're going to have 2 more pieces here, another piece in the middle, and then the very long piece will fit on the bottom. Once we sew these together, this will be exactly the right length. So let's start with the top row here. If you want to know what's the right and wrong side on your batik, it's sometimes hard to tell. Usually, if there's dark speckly things like this, that's the wrong side. Now, if you have to look for a long time and you can't tell, then it really doesn't matter. But on this one, that's clearly the back side of the fabric. I'm going to finger press the seam allowances, and for the top row I'm going to press every one to that side. So I'm just going to press it down a little bit with my fingers, and once the block is all done, we'll take it to the ironing board and steam press it nice and flat. Next row, same procedure, but we will finger press all the seam allowances in the opposite direction. Now we just have to sew all these three together. So because we finger pressed in opposite directions here, it's real easy to get the intersections to match because they will nest. We'll press this seam allowance down. And we can add our last piece. So that is the whole quilt. Every quilt is going to be a block just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out a variety of colors for each block and make all my blocks and get them all pressed nice and flat. I've got all the blocks done and the layout is super easy. We're going to take the long strip here and put it on the bottom, and then the next one in this row, that long strip goes on the top. So I'm going to keep alternating like this. And as I usually do, I don't worry about the colors when I first lay them out. I just try to get the blocks laying the correct way. Now for the second row, we're going to put the long strip on the side. So let's start with this one on the right. The next one goes on the left. And we keep alternating this row, right, left, right, left. The third row, it's exactly the same as the first row. So we've got the long strip on the bottom. The next one will go on the top. And I'm just going to keep laying it out till the quilt is done and then balance the colors. That's the last block there. Now, I didn't look at the colors at all. I simply laid them out in the direction they should go. And the only trading I'm going to do, because it looks pretty balanced, is where I've got the same fabric or really close fabrics right up next to themselves. So this is the same fabric here. I'm going to trade this with another block. Also, when I stand back, the fabrics that stick out a little bit more than the others, the dark purple does a little, and I think we might need some here. And then this light lavender, I want to make sure it's balanced as well. So I'll do a little bit of trading, get the block sewn together, get it onto the quilting machine. I've got the quilt all loaded up, and now we get to pick a thread color. I'm using a darker color here because I think a light one will show up too much. So any of these will work. Let's see, if you want a little more purple showing. I honestly don't think it's going to make any difference which one of these we use. That's a little bit lighter. It's going to show a little bit there. I've got a nice blue on the back, a lot of blue in here, a little bit dark. I think this will be the best choice. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's not going to show up much. We'll use this one. For the quilting pattern, I'm doing one called Scribbles. This is nice and flowy. I don't use it very often because sometimes it looks a little young to me. But a lot of people like this simple kind of pattern that just keeps going, and I think it'll look really good on our dark patchwork. I've got the Serenity quilt all done, and I'm very happy with the color mix. I like it all with less contrast of colors. There is some contrast, but there's not a strong secondary pattern in this that shows up when you make the quilt anyway. So that's why I liked a blend of fabrics that were all medium and dark. I made the 55 by 66 inch size. You could make it all the way up to a king. You could add borders. This is a quilt that I think looks great without borders, and it'd be super easy to make it bigger. I only used 14 fat quarters. Well, that's what the pattern called for. I added in 1 or 2 more so I would have more variety of print. And here's that fun swirly pattern. It's an all over. It just fills in the batik nice. It doesn't fight with anything. And then I used this nice blue fern that matches the top so well. Same thing for the binding. Really fun, really fast. One of the fastest quilts I've made. Thanks so much for watching our video today. I really enjoy making quilts and videos, and I hope you do too. If you have questions about the project I made, leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer. We're going to do a giveaway today. This is a nice baby quilt. It's always good to have a baby quilt on hand. Then if you get invited to a shower, you've got something ready. This has darling little animals in it. We've got goats and monkeys and lions, and we've got some little puzzle pieces and dots, grunge border. This is a Moda collection. I think it's called ABC and XYZ. I'm not sure. It's a little bit older. Got the nice grunge on the back. This would be good boys, girls, because we never know what we're going to get. So it's very easy to enter the giveaways. All you do is click the link right below this video that says giveaway and put in your name and your email address. Good luck! Now, if you like our tutorials and you want to support us, the best thing you can do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really helps us out. Happy quilting!